Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, chilly good morning and welcome to the JP Peterson Show, another what we call a very special edition of the JP Peterson Show, because we are live and freezing our asses off at the Valspar Championship. Yes, I am a wussy Floridian. I fully admit that. It's in the low 50s, but the wind's blowing. It feels like I don't know, minus 12. That's what it feels like to me anyway. Good morning. Good morning to Tim Ham from the warmth of our FanStream Sports Dallas studios. How are you, partner?
I'm good. It's about, 65 degrees here. It's warmer in Dallas than it is in Tampa right now.
Wow. How about that? Yeah. It is a chilly morning down here. There's no question about it. I had my nice golf attire here ready to show you guys, and then I got here and I said, nope, I'm going to the hoodie and the sweatpants. So I look like I'm ready to go play hoops at the YMCA. But we're here. We're here, and we got a great show for you. My good friend Paul Stewart from across the pond will be joining us to talk about all the European dominance of the PGA Tour. That's what he wants to talk about.
Of course.
Of course.
As long as it's not soccer, we're good.
No soccer time. And we have he's going to make a bold prediction about the Ryder Cup. Ooh. And we'll talk some bolts and bucks too. So we'll do that with Paul Stewart. Bob Harig is going to drop by, Sports Illustrated senior golf writer. Wrote a great book on Tiger, and Phil, and is a weekly beat writer out here on the PGA Tour. So we'll talk to Bob Harig about all things golf. And what else? Johnny Gerber's going to join us as well with our betting for the weekend.
Yep.
Get his card. Always great on the matchups. That's where we make the money, folks, on the matchups. So we got lots of good stuff. We got bucks to talk about. We got bolts to talk about. We'll do some Rays as well, because you guys have to have the Rays. I understand that. And we'll get it all going on. So welcome into the show.
Gluttons for punishment because they want Rays talk.
I know. I'm telling you, I literally cannot take a step. And I was out here all day yesterday. I cannot take a step without someone walking up to me and saying, what's going on with the Rays? Walk into the bar, Paul Messia, what's going on with the Rays? God, tell me what's going on with the Rays.
You're the insider.
It is literally a nonstop topic, though. People, it's unbelievable. People will not stop talking about it. Everybody's doing shows. Our friend Brody Brazil does like 6 shows a day on the Rays because it gets a ton of views.
Yeah.
It's nonstop. So it's been one of those topics that we do, and it's all encompassing. And we got some more somewhat kind of a news today. We'll get to in a little bit, and another great story too. So let's jump right into it with some bolts talk, because you were there last night at the what is the Stars Arena called? What is the corporate name?
It's the American Airlines Center.
Oh, it's still the American Airlines Center.
Not to be confused with the American Airlines Arena in Miami.
Okay, all right, cool.
Which was confusing whenever the Heat and the Mavericks were playing in the finals. Both seasons, right, in 06 and in 11, because American Airlines won both those series because you had the AAC and the AAA, and wherever you're at.
Oh. So the atmosphere last night was playoff-like?
Very playoff-like, which is odd, for two teams in opposing conferences that hardly ever see each other. They played. That was the second of two games they'll play against each other. They're 1-1. But last night, the Rays go up early, and the Stars appeared flat. They had I think an 8-game winning streak at home coming into the game, and the Stars just looked flat early. Ottinger didn't play. DeSmith was in, and DeSmith has played really, really well.
He played great last night.
Yeah, he had a personal 6-game winning streak going. It was a career best for him. He doesn't get a lot of ice time. And, man, I was impressed with DeSmith and net. Not impressed so much with the defense in front of him. But they get things tied up there, in the middle of the game. And, the last half of the game, I thought, and especially the third period, playoff hockey sense the entire time. The feel, the hits, there was some chit-chatting going on the ice between the two teams a little bit, which is a little bit of chirping. It was great, man. It was a great feeling, and it ended the only way really it could have ended. I hate shootouts. I hate ties more, but I hate shootouts.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Not a huge fan, but I don't want to go home without a victor. So
yeah, but even in the shootout, there's drama because the Stars scored their first 2 goals.
Yeah,
and then they have a chance to win it in the third round, and they can't. And then the Rays come back in the fourth, and they get a goal past DeSmith, and there you go. And it was just
Gage Gonsalves with the winner.
Yes,
who's played some really, really good hockey. I mean, he got sent down to Syracuse, and it was pretty much okay. Maybe he's probably needs another year of seasoning, and then he comes back up and has just played tremendous hockey. He's like, we can't send him down. He has made it so that they cannot send him back down, and I think he solidified his spot for the playoffs, especially with that goal last night. That's a big moment for him, and he seems to have calmed his play and just become more comfortable because he's got the size, he's got the ability, he's got the skating ability, and I think he can be an asset in the playoffs, no question about it. I tell you, I was very concerned about this game because the Lightning have not played well since the deadline, bringing in the deadline guys, which is not to say that Gord and Borgstrand weren't good moves. It just takes time. And you got to find out who plays best with who on the lines. But I'll tell you this, even in the first period, the Stars had 11 shot attempts. Yeah. And between, 2 games ago where they keep Boston from not having a shot on goal in an entire period to this against Dallas, one of the better teams in the league, they're shutting people down. And that's playoff hockey. And if Vasi only has to make 22 saves all night long, they're going to win a lot of hockey games. They're going to be in every single hockey game, especially with their scoring ability. That first goal last night, Hagel's first goal, that was passing extraordinaire. When you always talk about them overpassing because they do it all the time. That's one of the few times where it actually worked.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful when it does. But I'd rather you just shoot the puck. To be quite honest, I'd rather you just shoot the puck. But that was a gorgeous goal. Hagel and Cirelli both had goals and an assist. Hagel was fantastic last night again. They look like a team that's getting ready for the playoffs, and I love the fact that the way they can shut it down. Because that's playoff hockey. When you get a lead or you get tied, and you just are not going to allow the other team to breathe, that's good stuff, and that's what I saw last night from the Lightning.
Yeah, and it was like I said, it was a playoff atmosphere. The Lightning get a ton of respect from Stars fans, which some of the opposing teams in the Western Conference, some of the Stars rivals, it's just like any other NHL arena. You chirp at the opposing team. There's not a lot of that with the Lightning. The Lightning get a ton of respect, I think, from players and fans around the league. But when McDonough got hit in the ear with that puck late in the game, dude, the arena went silent. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. You would have thought Brian Leach just boarded Mike Modano behind the goal like he did back in years ago. Because, I mean, you could just hear a pin drop in the arena. And when he started to get up and get off the ice, I mean, the crowd went nuts, cheering for him.
Scary moment.
Huge respect, for McDonough and the Lightning on the ice. But, man, it was everything I expected. It was a thriller. Vasilevsky owns the freaking Dallas Stars. He's 15-4-3 against the Stars since the Stanley Cup final in 2020 when the Lightning, of course, beat the Stars 4-2. So
he's what is that number? Did you just say?
He's 15-4-3 against Dallas since the Stanley Cup finals in 2020.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Trying to turn on my light to see if it makes me a little bit more beautiful here, but might have to work.
I don't think that's possible, JP. You're about as beautiful as it can get right now.
All right, let's get to the golf. Shane Lowry, who I watched a little bit yesterday, is out in 4 under par this morning. Like, he is just on a roll. Let me see if I can get to the score.
Through 6. Yeah, he's 4 under through 6.
Yeah, 4 under, and it's windy out here this morning. It's cold and windy. So what do you know? Shane Lowry, the Irishman.
Yeah, he started his round on the back 9. He birdied 10, birdied 11, birdied 12, parred the par 3 13, and then he birdied 14, and he has since parred 15, another par 3.
So he's heading to the snake pit. To the snake pit, which 16 for this wind. It's going to play into the wind. 16 is going to be a bear, and 17 as well. So 16, 17, and 18, 15, 16, 17, 18 are going to be tough. I watched a lot of golf yesterday and watched Shane Lowry. We followed him for a little bit. and he's just striking the ball so well.
Yeah.
There's a funny moment over by the Hooters Owl's Nest, which is on 12. He he hit a nice shot in, and he's getting ready to chip from about 15, 20 feet. And some these Irish guys are just randomly yelling out Irish songs like "The Fields of Athenry, Molly Malone," and he's like, he finally turns around to him, and he's like, "Don't just yell the names, start singing," you know.
So great.
And then when they started singing, he's like, "Nah, stop singing, stop singing." At least I think that's what he said.
I love Shane Lowry, man. We talk about him a lot on the golf show, and every time we mention his name, it's got to be Shane Lowry. That's how we have to do it.
Yeah, fan favorite. So,
well, he nailed his drive on 16, 287 yards to the center of the fairway. He's got 162 yards left to the hole with a great line.
That's the shot. That's the shot on 16 because you got to carry you're going to hit it right to left, which he does, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, carry the water. No, he's great.
Yeah, you got to carry. Yeah, you carry it over the water to a very thin fairway, and then and if you hit it too far, you're blocked out by the trees on the left. It's probably the toughest hole out here. And the green is diabolical as well. So, yesterday there was only 21 players that shot under 70 at a course that's not that long. It's not that long from PGA Tour standards.
Sure.
It's when the wind blows out here and the rough is as Rondé told us yesterday about 3.5, 4 inches, and just walking around you could see balls. I saw guys. You hit it in the rough, you're probably going to have to pitch out for the most part. And I saw guys that tried to move it up on 12 and could barely get it to the green. A couple guys hit it in the water. It's a crapshoot when you hit it in the rough, which is the way it's supposed to be, by the way. And when you hit it in the rough, you're supposed to be penalized. And the rough here is legit. It is legit, and it's taken its toll. And then the putting out here is, when it gets this, windy, and yesterday we got rain that came through that softened things up a little bit. And, so guys that finished late after the rain had really an opportunity. I was following Sahith Thagala, who, boy, he hits the ball. I mean, he just tons it in. I saw him hit 4 or 5 iron shots within about six feet of the hole. He birdied, I think, four holes coming in last night. He's, I think, 2 under par last check. 1 under today, 3 under for the tournament. So watch him this weekend.
He had 5 birdies on the back 9 yesterday coming in.
He was.
But he finished bogey though.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah, a lot of people. Keith Mitchell, your boy Kashmir Keith.
Yeah.
He had, he had a 2-shot lead going into the final round here last year and shot a nice 77. Yeah. Which he said he's trying to forget for the rest of his life.
As he should.
And he had, he was 6 under yesterday, 90 yards out on the par 5 fifth, and ended up 4 under par for the day.
Yeah, bogey on 8 and 9. Yeah.
Yeah, he did not finish strong. So when he gets a little bit, in contention, obviously he needs to play better in those situations. He admitted as much after the round. So Xander Schauffele was 1 under yesterday. This is his 3rd tournament back since that rib injury. I saw him hit a couple balls, and he looks healthy. The swing looks good. So I think he was very pleased with the 1 under 70 yesterday. So he could be in contention this week. And of course, won 2 majors last year. Yeah. Justin Thomas finished at 2 over, but that's still very much in the hunt at this point, especially with him, who can go super low.
Yeah. He's already teed off today, too. He's already got his 2nd round started.
Jordan Spieth, watched him play a little bit yesterday. Eagled the first. Watched him play the first. Hit a driver, looked like hybrid, to the middle of the green to about 25 feet on number 1, which is that downhill par 5, and rolled into putt for eagle, and then gave it back in the next 2 holes. So he was kind of up and down yesterday. Jordan. Me and Fitzy were sitting there at the Hooters Owl's Nest, and we're betting on every shot. We're betting. He was like right in the middle of the fairway, and I'm like, all right, he's going to put this within 20 feet of the end of the hole. He said, no way. Hooks it, puts it in the bunker. So I'm down a buck on that one. He's in the bunker. I say, all right, he's going to get this within 10 feet. And Fitzy's like, no way. I'm like, all right, watch. Hits it to about 6 feet, makes the putt. And I I don't know if he heard us betting on him, but he kind of looked at after he hit it to about 6 feet. I was like, thanks, Jordan, for the. He turns around, gave a tip of the cap.
Yeah.
So appreciate
He's
the
at
money.
He's at 3 under for the day through 5 holes.
All right, 3 under through 5.
Yeah.
Jordan is wow.
Birdied 11, 12, and 14.
Wow, so there's birdies to be had this morning. I think because the course is probably a little bit softer than it has been because we got a nice bit of rain yesterday. It dumped pretty good. So it's probably a little bit softer. The greens are holding, and maybe they'll get some lower scores here today. So all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll get my friend Paul Stewart on here. He's got some good Buck stuff to give us. We'll a lot of it around the 50th anniversary of the team. So all you longtime Buck fans, it's going to be a really fun year reliving the nostalgia of this franchise, the good and the bad. So we'll talk to Paul about that. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. You get a free case evaluation, whatever your legal issues may be. Just email them, call them, tell them you heard it on the JP show, and they'll give you a free case evaluation, let you know what's going on with your case. They're local, they're trusted, and they get results. So if you're in an accident, your first call, make it to the Jeeves Law Group, our good friend Scott Jeeves. All right, quick break. Non-attorney spokesman, offices, Tampa, St. Pete. Quick break. Back with our good friend Paul Stewart after this. Stay with us. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that home will not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the Valspar Championship here, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. It is Match Madness to the 23rd, Match Madness. Buy a $1,000 gift card, get a $1,000 gift card. You cannot get any better. If you have a good friend that you want to buy something for, you can get a $1,000 gift card, then give him the other $1,000. We're not doing that. Let's move that a little bit closer. The great Paul Stewart from across the pond. You're coming to join us here in person.
I know.
The first time we've ever done a show in person.
We have worked together for 20 years, and it's always been transatlantic.
And now
Good day,
here's
mate.
another person.
Yeah.
That's something we love. Golf. We love golf. Just going back to the jewelry thing. I need some jewelry to celebrate because right now I am leading TJ's March Madness pool.
Oh, are you?
After one day, I'm going to need some bling to celebrate.
Yeah. I wouldn't be crowing too much right now. It's one day.
I don't
It's
care.
one day.
I know nothing about basketball.
Well, that's why you're winning.
That's why I'm
That's
throwing.
why you're winning.
Too right.
That's it. That's who always wins the office pool.
Sounds good to me. But yeah,
those
here we
who-
are with the
who
Valspar.
pick by colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
And
fantastic.
and Timmy, you lost your bet. He really doesn't smell that bad.
He doesn't? Oh, man. I thought he'd smell like fish and chips.
No, not bad for a limey, actually.
No malt vinegar?
Are you guys talking about me when I'm behind my back? We're going to have words here. I'm going to have to start saying that Formula One's better than IndyCar just to upset Tim.
Oh, come on now. No.
You know how I feel about that.
Them is fighting words right there. Wow.
I mean, I like them both. But
But we've got lots to talk about. There's so much going on here with the golf,
Well,
with the bolts.
let's start with the golf.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry is out early this morning
Yes.
and is 4 under par in the wind.
Which he
and the
knows a bit
cold.
about.
Yeah, I mean, this is unfair, actually.
Actually, can I just point out for the people watching from the UK, when you say cold, it's like 55, 60 here. We have been playing in 3 or 4 layers of clothing at Hoddesdon Golf Club. This is nothing. I'm okay. Yeah, I've put a sweatshirt on because we're sitting in the shade.
He showed up. He showed up in a polo, short sleeve polo. I'm like, what are you doing? It
wow.
feels like 20.
But yeah, so Shane Lowry being Irish, he grew up playing in the wind in Northern Ireland because you have days where there's strong wind and really strong winds.
Yeah.
That's all you have in Ireland. And when he won the Open at Portrush a few years ago, that's what he did. So I think anyone on the PGA Tour knows when the wind blows, Lowry's going to be in contention. And here he is. He's got off to a fantastic early start here at the Valspar. He's going to be in contention at the end of day 2.
Yeah. If you look at, and I don't know what the weather is throughout the weekend, but I think it's pretty similar. So he'll have an advantage, no question about it. Sahith Theegala, I like him too. I watched him play yesterday, followed him for a little bit. He's striking the ball extremely well. I saw him make 3 or 4 birdies on the way in yesterday, so good player.
Yeah, I saw him make the 3 birdies. I think it was at 10, 11, 12 where he started playing really well. He's had a bit of a downturn. He had that big feature on Netflix and everyone got behind him. And they thought that 2024 was going to be his year. Maybe it wasn't. But yeah, could it be a rebirth for Seager? And again, he's one of these people that people love to watch.
Yeah.
He's a little different.
Yeah.
And instead of your stereotypical blonde hair, baseball cap type player, he's something different. And I think fans gravitate to him.
Sure, yeah.
So he's going to have a lot of support around here today.
Who else you like here this week?
Do you know something? I mean, this is great. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Højgaard twins. I remember talking to you on a show about 4 years ago saying, watch out for these guys.
Yeah.
Now, there are players who hit the ball a long way. There are players who hit the ball a really long way. And then there are the Højgaards.
Yeah.
And they hit the ball onto another planet. And I watched Nikolai tee off about an hour ago, stripes it down the middle of the 10th fairway. He's one of these people, again, the Ryder Cup experience he got last year has proven to him he can compete at this level. Now we can talk about how the DP World Tour has become a feeder league for the PGA Tour, which it has.
Yeah.
And I've got no problem with that. It knows its place.
Right.
And some of these players like Højgaard and Straka and Dietrich have proven they can win on the PGA Tour. Højgaard's next step is to win a tour event. And yeah, it could be this one this weekend.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you have a bold prediction about the Ryder Cup coming up this September at Bethpage Black in New York.
Yes.
In New York.
My bold prediction is not that Europeans going to win because now I'd like to just point out that Europe won in 2024 and this guy sitting next to me had to buy me a very nice polo shirt from Palmacia Golf Club.
Yes.
Something he's still trying to pay off the debt for. My prediction for the Ryder Cup is it could be the last Ryder Cup ever.
What?
Wow.
Why would it be the last Ryder Cup
Now
ever?
this is to do with the fans and the situation.
The New York fans.
Now, the New York fans, they've been known in the past to be a little bit boisterous in sporting events. Now, we've talked about this on air many times. Very rarely do you support your country in a sporting event because all the big major events, baseball, football, basketball, you support your franchises. There's no national team. Whereas over in England, if you support a soccer team, it doesn't matter who you are, you get together to support England in the World Cup and different events. So we're used to it. So national pride at a sporting event is something new to you. Now, we've seen it in a couple of Ryder Cups in the past. Brookline in 99. We've had a couple of others. You get the USA chants, and it gets a little boisterous. Add that to the amount of beer that's probably going to be sold and drunk at Bethpage Black. Add that to the New York fans, and add that to the national spirit that's flowing through America right now.
Mm-hmm.
The American fans are going to go over the top crazy, and it's going to go past passionate support, and it's going to get out of control.
So what I hear you saying is the Europeans are very thin-skinned, and they won't be able to take it. So
I knew that was going to be your response.
They're going to cry and take their ball and go home. Is that's the way I heard it? Is that the way you heard it, Tim?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard. Yeah.
I knew doing this in person was going to be difficult, and you said you were going to kick my ass today. I knew that. No, I don't think they're thick-skinned. I think what it is golf's a game built on honesty and respect.
Listen, if it gets to that point, I will be embarrassed for the U.S.
Exactly.
I don't want to see that. That's ridiculous. There's no place in golf for that. There's no. And listen, and not that the Europeans had their moments.
Yes.
They were chiding.
Of course.
What were they doing?
It's the ole.
But they're also getting on a couple players.
Yeah.
Individually. The guys in the hats. There was stuff about the hats. Whatever.
That was they brought that on themselves.
Probably so.
But what we see.
But listen, there was nothing about the American team. How they ill prepared for that last one. That was to be proud of in the Ryder Cup. I mean, I thought Zach Johnson did a horrible job as the captain, not making them come over and prepare on the course like they should have. Just letting the guys do whatever the hell they wanted to do in preparation, and it worked horribly. You got to create a team spirit. You got to have some sacrifices made. And what was it? I don't think any of the players came over a week early.
No.
Whereas the Europeans were together for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Practicing on the course and getting ready. And the Americans thought they could just show up, take a look at the course and win. And in typical flippant PGA Tour attitude sometimes. And I was embarrassed by it. I think if you're an American, you're embarrassed by that performance, and they certainly need to rectify that situation. But I don't want to see it, some embarrassing show of rude American fans. I don't think it'll get to that point, but you may be right.
I hope. I mean, 99 in Brookline is the one that everyone remembers.
Yeah.
And that did get out of control, and there was stuff going on.
Boston, right?
Yeah, Boston fans. There we go. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was stuff going on where Andrew Coltott had a ball hit into the rough. They were looking at it. They couldn't find it. And it turns out one of the officials had stamped it into the ground and had his foot on it. There was stuff like that going on. Montgomery got abused, but Montgomery deserved it. I've got no problem with that.
He brings it home.
I have had to deal with him on British TV. And believe me, that's 10 minutes of my life I never want back.
He's an ass.
So that's my fear, that it could get out of control. And yeah, like you say, you'd be embarrassed for America.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen. And I hope, New York fans, they can get out of control, no question about it. But I think there should be, the PGA Tour and whoever needs to give them the message. Let's be fervent in our support, but respectful.
That's what it needs, and I hope you're right. But that is unfortunately my bold prediction, and this one I really hope I'm wrong on. In terms of who's going to win, let's talk about that near the time. I'm sure we could have.
Let's see what the teams are. Let's get closer.
I'm sure we could have another side bet. I'd really like. I'd love another Palmacia polo shirt, JP. I need another one for my collection.
Well, you're on our soil this time. I think we'll have a good squad, but you never know. Who's our captain? Keegan.
Yeah, Keegan Bradley. That one shocked. Just in Europe when he was announced. Yeah. You can't play. You cannot play and captain a Ryder Cup team. No. It can't happen.
Why don't we just make Zinger the all-time captain?
Do you know this came up? I mean, this is why.
I mean, he put together the pods. He was brilliant in his psychological and mental, psychological, emotional preparation. He had the guys right where they needed to be, and I just loved him as a captain. And I don't think we need to. He should at least get another shot.
Well, the Americans are waiting for one person to become captain.
Well, why doesn't he do it? It's about time. He can't play anymore.
I mean, Luke Donald.
I think Tiger would be a great captain.
Luke is doing his second captaincy because he stepped in at the last minute to replace Stenson because he went to live. After Luke Donald, Justin Rose is obviously likely to become a European captain. Maybe once, maybe twice. Oh, and that was our wind blowing our equipment
went over there.
Yeah, we've got 30-mile-an-hour gusts here. There goes my beautiful light. So I think we're still on the air.
Yeah, we're still good. We're still live.
Yeah.
You see what happens. You bring a British guy in on live coverage, and you see what happens. So yeah, I mean, I think Justin Rose would be a fantastic
place is getting blown
captain
over here right now.
because he's one of the great people of sport. I mean, I've worked with him several times. He's just a really good person. He respects the game. But I think that you come back about the whole team thing. Europe have been well known. They play as a team. They play as 12 people. America plays 12 individuals.
Yeah.
And back in the days, in the 70s and 80s, it didn't matter because the
just so much
PGA
better.
was so dominant.
Yeah.
Now, the likes of Ballesteros and Faldo came over here, proved they could win. And like you say, now it's a world tour. The 12 top European players are playing on this tour. There's no advantage for the Americans in that.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this before the show started. Europeans have won 5 of the 12 events this year on the PGA Tour. Rory's won twice, Aberg's won, Dietrich's won, and Sepp Straka's won. And Dietrich hasn't made a Ryder Cup team yet. Straka was a really unsung hero of last year's Ryder Cup. This European team is strong, and they're not going to be overawed by Bethpage Black.
Yeah.
I just think it's the fan situation that could spoil it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It could well be that the Ryder Cup goes to a neutral venue. Heaven forbid Middle East will put the money in and take it there.
No, I don't
Heaven
want
forbid.
that. I don't want that. We don't need a neutral site. That's ridiculous.
We could go to Dallas.
We can behave ourselves.
We could go to Dallas and Tim could host it.
Yes, please. That would be amazing.
Place. Dallas is no place for a Ryder
Hooters
Cup.
would sponsor it for us.
Have we ever had a Ryder Cup in Florida?
Yeah, 1983. It's
PGA
where
National.
Yeah,
that's it.
PGA National. Ballesteros hit the miracle 3-wood off the bunker.
Right.
And I think it was, I'm trying to think who hit the miracle shot. I think it was Lanny Watkins. But
Hey, what,
you'll have to check that
this-
for me. I could be wrong. He hit the great shot to win
This
it for them.
course would be great for a Ryder Cup.
Yeah, but 83 was the first one Tony Jacklin captained.
That's right.
And it was the first one that Europe realised they could win.
Mhm.
And then 2 years later at the Belfry, they did.
That's right.
This would be a great course. This is a fantastic.
All right, before you leave us here and go freeze, the Bucks 50th anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
And you were just over at One Buck Place visiting with the Muckety Bucks over there, our good friend Brian Ford and everybody. And this is going to be a walk down nostalgia road
It
of
is.
the next year. That's going to be, if you're a longtime Buck fan, it's just going to be awesome. We've talked about the documentary, which you're going to be a part of.
I am filming my part of the
Completely
documentary next
freaking
week.
jealous
Yes.
on that. I'm
Yes.
very jealous about that. But what can you tell us about that and all that? Because a lot of it's hush hush now. We can't tell you too much.
Well, as I say, it's the 50th season, and because I run buckpower.com, the history of the Buccaneers website, I'm going to be heavily involved. So there's going to be just one throwback game next year, but the Bucks are going to do something special on every week of every home game. There's going to be a throwback feature. There's going to be something going on because it's a big part.
Yeah.
So I'm putting together an all-time Bucks roster, starters and backups from the history of the Buccaneers. And we'll see who makes it onto that.
So we were just debating quarterback.
Yes.
And I got to go. You got to go Brady one just because of his place in the game and the fact that he came here and won a Super Bowl. It is what it is. Don't mess up the obvious. That's number one. Because we don't have a long time, guy who played here 14, 15 years, nobody like that. And so I'm going to go with Brady. You're going to go with.
I've got Doug Williams as my starting quarterback because of the history.
Oh, wow.
I know, controversial take from the British fan. I'm sure that will provoke some response.
His place in the game historically is also incredibly significant.
But his time with the Buccaneers was significant, what he does. But both of us agreed on the number 3 quarterback on the roster because he knows where we both live. That's Brad Johnson.
That's right. The Bull has got to be 3. Another short-lived stint here, but of course won a Super Bowl and was instrumental in that, and instrumental in developing the tough culture of that team.
And he played touch football with me at Wembley in 2011, so that gets him on the roster for that. So I'm putting that together.
Steve Spurrier stand in all of this?
Where he stood for the whole 76 season on his backside, looking up at the defense, Tim.
He's definitely, you can't tell the history of the Bucs without talking about Steve Spurrier. He was there in the very beginning, but
so I'll be doing that.
Game.
I'll be doing this history. We're also going to be starting something on Buck Power. We're going to do the 50 greatest regular season games.
Regular
franchise
season
history.
games.
We've done.
Okay.
Everyone knows all the playoff games and Super Bowls.
Yeah.
The 50 best regular season games, going back to the first one in franchise history against Houston in '76, which Spurrier played in.
Where does the Sunday night football?
Bucks Rams or Bucks
Bucks
Dolphins?
Rams.
Bucks Rams is one of the top 3 or 4. That was one of the greatest Monday night games ever.
Oh, that was incredible.
I did that one for British TV. We've got the Bucks Dolphins Sunday night from '97.
Yes,
it was an amazing night.
Yes,
I was there for that.
Incredible game.
We've got the Snowball, the game in Green Bay in '85.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got all these great games. We've also got memorable ones where maybe the Bucks didn't win.
Yeah.
The famous day we gave up 62 to the Jets and all the story behind that. We are not going to feature the game in Atlanta that Lovie Smith allegedly coached, where they were 56-0 down in the third quarter. That
was the worst game.
That didn't quite make the top 750. It was just outside the list.
That was the biggest give-up game I think I've ever seen in my life.
The only game I've ever stopped watching live and watched the rest next day. So all this is coming. I'm doing the work with the Buccaneers marketing department, doing these countdowns and features. Isn't it crazy, though, in the history of the Buccaneers, that the person who knows the most about the history lives in England? I know. I know. But that's what I'm going to be doing.
But you know what? It's an international brand, baby.
We've talked about this. The internet's made the world a smaller place.
Ask you this. What got you interested in the Buccaneers?
Okay, this is the best one. They started showing the NFL on British television in 1982. And the first one I watched, they showed highlights of a Monday night game. And it's between the Bucks and the Dolphins. And I was 17 years old, and I watched it, and the Bucks won, and I thought that team in orange must be pretty good. They then had 14 straight losing seasons.
Well, now we know why. And now we know why.
And Doug Williams.
It's all his fault.
Yeah, Doug Williams always got the blame for it because they said it was to Doug Williams. Well, when Doug found that out, he said it's my fault.
It's the curse
but
of
that was
Paul
it. It was a real life-changing moment. I became a Buccaneer fan at that moment, started a fan club. I covered British American football. I actually called the first international game between England and France. I did the play-by-play on that in '85. And then I started coming over here. I started working with all the great people in media over here. Then I met you as well. and it's crazy, but I've met so many people, and there will be people messaging in the show today who I've got to meet.
Yeah.
And this is what the internet's made the world a smaller place. So here I am now in 2025. I love my Bucks. I love my Rays. I love my Lightning, especially after the win they had last night, Tim. And I love the golf.
I know.
So yeah, here I am. And long may it continue, and long may our friendship and work continue over all these years.
Well, it's good to have you on. Your hands are shaking, so he is actually cold. He's just trying to hide it. Go enjoy the golf.
I will.
Go follow Shane Lowry.
I will.
Well, he won't like you. Well, he's Northern Ireland.
He's on. Because I'm England. Yeah,
so
I'm going to go find. I'm going to go find Tommy Ladd and Luke. I've worked with Luke before. I'll go and catch up with him. But yeah, thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to do this live in person.
Yeah.
And yeah, go Bucks, go Rays, go Bolts, go golf.
Go golf.
Go golf.
All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have some more surprises for you. Bob Harig's going to join us at some point here today. Johnny Gerber's going to join us to get us some picks for the weekend matchups. So we got all that coming your way, and maybe some other surprise guests. We're live from the Valspar Championship, brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. It's Match Madness time there. Get a $1,000 gift card and get one free. Match Madness for $1,000 through the 23rd. Buy a gift card for $1,000, get one for free. So get on over to the Golden Diamond Source. You're going to pop the question. It's a great idea. If you're going to buy something for yourself, guys, they got a big new men's section. Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Homerton Road, and always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. I thought you were going to finish that for me. All right, back in 3 to the Valspar.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Hey guys, February's birthstone is amethyst, a stunning purple gem that symbolizes peace, protection, tranquility, and sincerity. Celebrate her birthday or your 6th and 17th wedding anniversaries with an unforgettable amethyst gift. And of course, for over 40 years, the Gold and Diamond Source has been Tampa Bay's most trusted name in fine jewelry. We only sell natural diamonds. If it's real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't get a fake. The Gold and Diamond Source first-time buyer program will help you learn about the 4 C's, what style, shape, and color works best for you and your unique style. Folks, it's the best customer service. They make it so easy for you, and they're not going to push you into something that you cannot afford. 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Also, you can turn your old unused gold into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. So get that old jewelry and bring it on in. You know where, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we get set for it should be a really good round 2 today. Shane Lowry is out early with 4 under par, and it is windy. It's gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Scott Fitzgerald's here. Scotty,
gambling. Gonna get my money back today.
we were gambling. We're sitting there at the Hoosiers Owl's Nest, and we're gambling on every shot, Timmy. Like every putt, every who hits the green, how. And what's great now is next to the green, they have these big boards, and it tells you, because you could bet, okay, is getting within inside 20 feet, 25 feet. And they give you exactly how far they are away from the hole. So you can bet on that as well.
Did you ever go to baseball games as a kid or teenager, but young adult, whatever? And at the end of every inning, when the player that makes the last out, they always throw the ball, toss the ball back to the mound.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever make those bets, like it's going to stay on the mound or it's going to roll on the grass?
Yeah. We do pitch speed now. Get a bunch of singles, and you can because then you're guessing, is he going to throw curveball? Is he going to throw fastball? Is he going to throw changeup? So you got to know the pitcher. You got to know the count, right? And so we'll just like blurt out, all right, 97, 84, 91, and whoever's closest gets the pot. So the money, every pitch is going back and forth. So that's the best way to do a baseball game, because let's be honest, it can get a little boring.
Absolutely,
it can get a little boring.
By the way, Shane Lowry on the move again. He's at 6 under as he birdied 16 and 17.
Jesus,
he hit his drive on 18. Into the right rough, short of the bunkers.
Okay.
And he's got 168 yards out of the rough to the hole. So we're waiting on his next shot.
Wow, he is on fire in this wind. To do 17's probably playing 200, and 16's a bear. Yep. So wow, that is one hell of a performance by Shane Lowry.
He birdied 10, 11, 12, 14.
So, I'll get our on-course reporter to come give us so Lowry's coming up 18 right now.
Is he cool?
And he's like, what is he, 6 under?
He's at 6 under. Yeah, he's in the right rough, hitting out of the rough. So watch that approach shot.
He's playing with Thigala too. We watched them.
Yeah, I think he's playing.
He was 2 under.
Yeah. Steve, you want to come tell your story here? Come on, sit down. Come on, man. I have a Rays ticket holder here, and he wants to spill the beans on how bad the Rays have been communicating with their fans, their season ticket holders. I've heard that from a bunch of he's a little hesitant. He knows the revenge of Stu. You never know what's going to happen. You coming in? Nah, he said no. He said no. But I'll give secondhand, as the story goes. He's one of their season ticket holders, and they've done a terrible job in communicating with the season ticket holders and moving them. I mean, it's not like they have that many. I mean, geez, oh Pete's. So, and they've done a really poor job of communicating with them in terms of getting their seats at the new stadium because they're trying to, sell them at basically to the highest bidder. And once they figure out where they've soaked enough people, and I think they're reaching saturation point where people aren't going to pay $300 for what should be a $30 ticket on opening day. So once again, it's all about maxing out, making the most amount of money humanly possible, and
yeah,
it's just that's the Rays. Oh, and another quick story. So a friend of mine who used to be involved with the Gasparilla Bowl that was played over at Tropicana Field. And he was telling me a story of when Brian Auld first came in and they had their first meeting, with the bowl and Brian as the new president. And he sits down at the meeting and the first words out of Brian Auld's mouth are, "Your bowl game is very annoying. It's very annoying to me." That's the first words out of his mouth. Yeah. The story, it's funny because now not only are you hearing everybody wants to talk about what's happening with the Rays, but now you're hearing, suddenly everyone's bold enough to start telling their stories of what it's like to deal with the Rays because I think everybody feels like this group is on their way out finally. Yeah. And I tell everybody this, I tell you folks on the show, look, everything is in place. You have 2 or 3 groups there's 4 groups vying for the team. There's 2, maybe 3 that have the money to buy it. 2 of them want to build in Tampa and have the resources to do so. And Major League Baseball is focused on getting this done in Tampa. So everything is lined up. They have the money to overpay for the franchise. It's just a matter of whether Stu wants to get it done. And I was talking about this with a couple other media people the other day. I think there's still room for him to have a positive legacy here. If he were to sell the team now and were to move to Tampa and everything worked out great, I think we would look back on the Sternberg era as, okay, he made us competitive. He did a great job coming up with perfecting the Moneyball approach. And then, the stadium issue he could never get done. But if he continues to hold this team hostage, and that's what it is at this point, in fact, I think we need to start having a daily clock. Rays held hostage by Stu.
Day 188.
We're gonna have to back it up till I don't know what maybe from the day he turned down the Tampa e-board. Maybe we'll go back to that point. And by the way, I read that there was a timeline story in the Times today. I'm like, there's a lot more we need to add to that timeline. It's not very comprehensive in terms of the negative things that have happened because there have been a ton of those that were not mentioned in the article. So
I do have to make a comment.
Yes,
Hey,
Scotty
Fitz
is here.
Comment with JP is probably 6 years ago. He took the unpopular decision to go after Stu and the Rays and call him out when no other media was doing it, even when you're at 6-1.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah,
and
cost me my job.
Yeah, it cost you your job. Probably cost you a lot. But I got to tell you, yesterday we would walk 5 to 10 feet, and people were coming up to JP all day yesterday, just really thanking him for taking this stance because he called you guys called him out 5-6 years ago, and finally the media now is actually admitting what you've been telling everybody for a long time.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And listen, I've done it just because it's the truth,
Yeah,
and I mean, it's great that the rest of the media is now coming to the party because, it's the city officials, it's, the county officials, everyone who's worked with them. And it's all been a horribly negative experience. And everybody realizes now what we've been saying for a long time. It's not Hillsborough's fault. It's not St. Pete's fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's not the business leaders' fault. It's not the corporate support. It's Stu Sternberg. Yeah. That's been the problem. It's this big mystery on why it's so hard to get a stadium done. That's it. And if you have the decision maker who's going to constantly move the goalposts and not going to bargain in good faith, is not going to treat the fans the way they should be treated, then at some point, even the media sources that have been protecting him for quite some time have to come to the point of, yeah, you know what, this is the problem. So the sooner the better. But You know,
you don't have to buy another beer the rest of your life in this town. Everybody, Scott will never have to buy another beer.
Well, let's get it. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Tremendous.
You know, until it's sold and done, and we're free, and the hostage crisis is over.
We'll get back to our lives.
Then we'll build a stadium in Tampa, and everybody will be happy. So season ticket holders will be happy in Tampa, won't they? Yeah, okay. He won't come on, but he'll.
He's afraid of Stu. Stu's a mean man.
To revoke his tickets. No, hey, with good reason. All right, go do some on-course reporting.
See you guys, look out.
Go do some on-course reporting. Yeah. We'll see. I want to know what the Irish contingent, how drunk they are following Shane Lowry.
I can smell the liquor from here.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Hey, bring your cash.
Don't worry, I'm bringing my cash.
Bring your cash.
You saw that wad he's got? I'm going to take that. That'll be mine by the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When Scotty gets drunk, you know, on the golf course or when we're doing bets,
I can relate.
Easy pickings.
I can relate.
All right, Bob Harig's going to join us at 11:15. Johnny's going to join us at 11, correct?
That's what he said. He may have to be on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brian Reed's not going to be able to make it. Our cat, Matt Kuchar's caddy, so he's they had a tough day yesterday. I want to kind of get him on and see what it's like out there because there's a lot of conversing going on. I was watching Cam Young yesterday, and boy, that dude takes a long time to play golf.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, he hit it as par 5 14th. He hit it left, and he had a choice to go kind of under the trees and attack the green with a 3-wood. It was a bold choice, and that's what he did. And he had it was close to the cart path, so he had to move it. But he literally sat there and was staring at the shot for 5 to 7 minutes. I don't know how long it was.
Oh my!
And one of his other it was bad. And one of his other playing partners said, "Hey, we're just going to go." I think it was Taylor Moore. "Hey, we're just going to go." And he said, "Oh yeah, go ahead." And then Taylor hits it, and then Taylor, having to wait all this time, hits it into the water.
Oh,
and they couldn't, or near the water, they couldn't find it, which was odd. And then, I mean, Cam actually hit a really, really good shot. I mean, he blistered a 3-wood that kind of faded and just got right of the green. I think he made birdie there. But it's just like I know there's a lot at stake. And I know, there was a lot to kind of build into that shot. He was going to take a risk, but at some point you got to freaking pull the trigger. You got to make a decision. And you got to pull the trigger. And I know pace of play right now, and we'll talk to Bob Harig about that, is one of the big, topics. And that's just, at some point you got to pull the trigger. Like, make a decision. If it gets to the point where you're looking at this decision for more than 3 or 4 minutes, I mean, what are we doing? Like, and there was groups on because we were sitting at 12 for quite some time. There were groups that were a hole and a half behind. Like that, it's in professional golf. That's just ridiculous. So that's something it's another thing that the PGA Tour is got to figure out. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. What else did we want to get into? We talked a little bit about the Bolts yesterday. March Madness yesterday. I got to watch a few of the games. I was, out here watching golf, so I watched a little bit last night. Couple of upsets here and there. You were probably watching it more than I was Timmy. We got McNeese State, who beat Clemson. Clemson was really bad. Clemson was, they made it close in the second half. But Will Wade, he used to be the coach at LSU and got dismissed there for basically having an NIL program before they had NIL. He's going to be the new coach at NC State, coaching McNeese State. And they beat Clemson. That was one of the upsets. Drake wins as well. And now we got a Calamari Patino upset or matchup in the second round. That's going to be fun as well. So, and the Gators play at 6:50 today, I believe. I think that's right. Yeah, they play at 6:50. So everybody's going to be huddled around a TV set here in Tampa Bay watching the Gators play their first round match on their march to San Antonio in a Final Four, hopefully. I mean, they've got everything they need to go deep in this tournament.
I mean, you had some low seed, high seed upsets. Arkansas beat Kansas. We had all these games on the TVs in the box at the AAC last night. Arkansas beat Kansas. That's a 10 over 7. You mentioned McNeese over Clemson. That's a 12 over a 5. You had Drake beat Missouri, an 11 over a 6. And then you had a bit of a scare for a little bit, Alabama State versus Auburn. Because that game it was close at the half. It was like 32-31 approaching halftime. They were hanging right with them, and Alabama State was giving Auburn fits, and they made some adjustments at halftime. Kudos to them. They end up winning by 20. But there was some scares, but man, I think for the first, and I normally don't pay a lot of attention to the first round. You know, I'll watch the games. I'm not invested in any of them. Although I was pretty invested in A&M last night. They got a win. Texas Tech got a win. But, we had some scares, I think. We had some upset alerts last night, maybe more than usual.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to some of these matches down the line. In around 2 matches, we're going to be really, really good matchups. We could see UConn and Florida, I believe, in the second round too. So, probably better games on this weekend coming up. All right, looks like Johnny Gerber's ready to go, or is he? He's getting up. No, he's not. No,
You want to bring him in?
Should we hit the break first?
Yes, do a break real quick. Yeah.
All right, quick break. When we come back, Johnny Gerber is settled in. We'll give us some bets here for the weekend. I'll let him know what the conditions are all about out there. It's freezing. So quick break here. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get that insurance checkup right now, 813-877-7799. They'll do your auto, they'll do your business insurance, your flood insurance, all that good stuff. Call and get the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Back to the Valspar Championship right after this.
Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this beautiful Friday out here. Well, it's a little chilly. But not for Shane Lowry. He is absolutely pummeling this golf course. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Cafe Paradiso. Go on over to see my friend Paulo and get a reservation for the weekend on Open Table. John Gerber's favorite Tampa restaurant, by the way, Cafe Paradiso.
Mine too.
I know that for a fact as we welcome him in. What's up, Johnny? How are you, partner?
Good morning, fellas. What's happening? Yeah, JP, you said it's chilly there. Welcome to Texas in March. It's exactly the same type of weather. It's about 55 degrees. I'm sitting outside at the beautiful retreat here in Cleburne, Texas, and watching these boys struggle. That golf course is way too tight for it to be cold and windy.
Oh.
So I know those guys are struggling, but you look at the leaderboard, JP. I mean, doesn't it fit perfect for Shane Lowry when it's coming into something like this? A golf course that's a little bit quirky. He's a little bit quirky. It's cold. It's windy. I mean, it kind of fits him to the tee. Now we'll see when it's going to get nice this weekend. See if he falters like he did last weekend at the Players Championship. But a great round of golf. He's definitely playing right now out there at Innisbrook.
Yeah, 6 under par for the front 9. Right? If I read that right.
Yeah, he parred 18 going in. So he birdied 10, 11, 12, birdied 14, birdied 16 and 17, parred 13, 15 and 18. So
he's 2 under. He's 2 under on the snake pit coming in. There's not going to be a lot of people that does that. That's for sure, especially when the blustery, especially with the cold conditions. But again, I think that kind of fits him. But hey, listen, JP, I know you played there a bunch. I played there a couple times in the Florida Open. That golf course is, very, very difficult. But the stat that I really liked, what happened yesterday, I don't know if you saw it. Jordan Spieth hit 5 greens yesterday and shot 3 over par. He's 3 under par today. I mean, if anybody in the world besides Jordan Spieth hits 5 greens out there, they're shooting in the mid 80s. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing, especially with the rough and how you can short side yourself. You short side yourself there, you're in big time trouble. So that was something I really liked from Jordan Spieth. I thought he was doomed because Tim picked him at the beginning of the week in his dartboard pick. So I thought for sure he was going to shoot about 85. So we'll see what happens with Jordan on the weekend. Looks like he's going to make the weekend.
Well, part of his secret was he eagled number 1. He hit driver, I think, hybrid into number 1 and made about a 25-footer to eagle. Then hit on number 2, basically kind of chunked his fairway shot into the bunker. I think the wind got it, and he got a fried egg out of the bunker. So he has to. And I thought he hit a great shot there, just to get it within 20 feet because the green was running away from him downwind, and he somehow kept that fried egg on the green and didn't make par, but settled for bogey. And then, he kind of scraped it around all day long. Got a sand save on 12. We saw him at 12, a beautiful sand save there. So, yeah, he's a magician around the greens. But I think today, obviously putting and just hitting greens today is going to be at a premium because with this rough out here, Johnny, it's not like the regular rough where these guys can bomb it, then hit their wedge on the green. You're not, even though it rained a little bit yesterday, you're not going to be able to hold these greens with the wind's going to dry them out if you're hitting the ball in the rough. There's just no way.
Yeah, and you look at this time of year, and I know they overseed, top to bottom out there. And when you get that sticky overseed, especially when it gets a little bit rough, and you get that, bluegrass overseed that kind of grows high, 4 or 5 inches,
it's
3
4
inches.
inches, yeah.
That's a lot for this time of year, especially it gets so sticky and stuff around the greens. But yeah, I mean, if you got a chance this week, I don't know if you've ever went to go see Jordan, but first off, the misnomers with Jordan is he hits it a lot farther than what people think. First off,
God, yes.
People think he's short, and he's a lot bigger guy than what people think. Jordan's about 6'2", around that 200, 185, 90, 200-pound mark. So, he's just not the guy that has a great short game and can putt it. But, he hits it a lot farther, and I think that's certainly helping him. And if he can stay away from that two-way misses that he's been having working on his swing, I really think he's going to be a contender at Augusta in a few weeks.
Jordan shot 3 over yesterday in round 1. He's at 4 under for the day through 10 as he approaches number 2. He had started on the back 9 today, but he seems to have everything going. Looking at the shot tracker on him, he seems to have been hitting more fairways than he did yesterday, so he's got that going for him.
He's 4 under
That
today. Wow.
He's four
yeah,
under on the day. Yeah.
He's 4 under today, and I hope everybody took our bet that we have. I think we're about 155-7 when it comes to Johnny Vegas missing the cuts on places that have good-looking women. So we're definitely gonna hit that bet with Johnny Vegas shooting 7 over par yesterday. So I don't know. You must have saw him somewhere at Salt Shack or something beginning of the week, because that's for sure. That's for sure a guaranteed bet. When you talk about places that have good-looking women, we certainly bet against Johnny Vegas missing the cut.
All right. That's yeah. I didn't trail him last night. I was a little tired after a long day of taking Scott Fitzgerald's money on the golf course for the second straight day. So it was
Okay.
exhausting. Yeah, it was exhausting. We're doing a lot of betting out here, Johnny. We bet on every shot, every shot.
I love it. Golf betting has evolved. If you look at 4 or 5 years ago, heck, you couldn't even bet. You could barely bet top 5 matchups or matchups. Now it's evolved on Shot Tracker. You can bet on every shot, every par threes. It makes it a lot of fun. It makes it there's
Yeah.
a lot of volatility there, and you get some of these younger guys coming into the betting circle, which is great. But I don't mess around with too many of the shot per shot stuff. There's too many variables there. But it certainly makes it a lot of fun. We could definitely go beer for beer or something like that, closest to the
Well,
pin.
when you're in person though, when you got cash
Yeah.
money, you got stacks. It's just the
Yeah.
money's just trading hands right there. We don't need an app. We don't need an app for this. It's like
No.
okay, and I'll because that's like a 20-footer. I'll say all right, 4-1 on this one. 4-1 odds. You're gonna take it or you're not gonna take it. So yeah, every shot's gonna have a winner or a loser. It's a beautiful
I'd
thing.
love to do that. As long as we're sitting next to the Hooters tent, the Hooters hospitality tent
That's
out there,
where we were.
I'm all for it.
So we're at the Hooters tent. They're just walking around with pitchers of beer, right? It's a beautiful day, and they got chicken wings, and you're betting on every bet. It's just, I mean, does it get any better than that? Does it
No,
get any better than that?
if you stick around long enough, you'll see Johnny Vegas there. I promise you. So don't you worry about that. You can bet on,
Well,
bet on him.
Gruden and the Barstool guys were here yesterday, and we
That's
just
good.
missed them at the Hooters Owl's Nest. So yeah, Gruden was holding court yesterday at the Hooters Owl's Nest. So
That's
you'll
great.
see, yeah, you'll see a lot of celebrities out here today. So or all weekend long. So get your butt out here. You got any? As you look at the leaderboard now, who if you were going to bet on a winner? I mean, I think Shane Lowry is plus 400 now to win the tournament.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet. I still like Corey Connors. I know he struggled coming in yesterday. I really like his ball striking. He's 1 under par for the day. This is Tim's favorite type of golf tournament because I think if you get the double digits, I think it's a winner.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's going to continue to kind of plot around. I like the way he finished last week at the Players Championship. He's really good on these kind of overseeded Bermuda type of greens, and he doesn't have to make they're not as treacherous of putting surfaces like he's had last week. So they're not easy by any means, but I like the way he's plotting around a little bit. Look at a guy like Davis Riley. Davis Riley sits there. He shot 2 under par yesterday. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes, but he's also not going to go super low. So I think if you look at some of those guys that are kind of steady this week and have a lot of patience, because it takes a lot of patience to play out there at Innisbrook because of the quirkiness and the dog legs and how difficult it's playing. Those are the guys I'm going to kind of look for this week in our matchups. And on the opposite side, maybe some guys that I'm going to fade a little bit. Keith Mitchell is notoriously not being a great Saturday player on moving day. Maybe a little bit different. He might be able to wear his cashmere sweaters this week because of the cooler weather, so he might feel comfortable. But he's a guy that I always like to fade on the weekends because of that moving day. He doesn't really make those moves, but we'll see. Tim's new favorite guy, I told him the other day, Andrew Novak. I look for him to do some really good things this year. I'm not so sure this is the week for him. He's going to be on our card a lot this year. I like the way he performed at the Farmers. So look at a guy like that on a very difficult type of golf course. Look at a guy like Andrew Novak, maybe a little bit further on in the year that you could get some really good value from because I think he's going to win, and he might be in our ham sandwich picks later on in the year. But a little hard to see. I'm going to watch the coverage today and see who we got and see what the weather condition is going to be like tomorrow. Certainly going to be warmer tomorrow with the cut, and they probably won't start till probably 10 or 11 next couple of days. So I'm going to look at some of those guys that are really steady, not going to make a lot of mistakes as the guys that could shoot 63 or 70 or 83.
I followed Victor Hovland yesterday, and he is really striping it really well. And he also had this lady who was stalking him.
Oh,
Like,
no.
yeah, like this older lady, like every time he hit a ball, she would be like, Victor, will you come shake my hand? Will you please come?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And like there was one part three.
Security.
She was like 10 feet away from him. And I was like, I think everybody that was watching was like just a little bit creeped out because she wasn't like whispering it. She was yelling at him to come over and shake her hand or something. Anyway,
maybe that's what he needs to get out of this slump. You know, I mean, he was
a slump buster.
notoriously for
Is that
being
what
a
you
poor
just said?
chipper.
Slump
What's that?
buster. She's a slump buster.
Okay, whatever it
Oh, no.
takes. He's 3 under today. He's 3 under today through 9 holes, so something's working for him.
We
Maybe
killed Johnny.
Maybe they got up. Oh, we did.
I guess we
Maybe they
killed
got
Johnny with the
together.
slump buster.
Did we? Did he leave us?
He didn't leave, but his picture's gone.
I was looking at the scoreboard. So yeah, Victor Hovland's 3 under this morning, so he's getting it done. And then again, talk about great ball strikers, but he's been in a bit of a slump for sure.
Yeah.
Well, but I would, I definitely going to be someone to watch. He'll be probably teeing off later tomorrow, maybe with Shane Lowry. So those two Europeans going at it. Paul Stewart will be very happy to see
It'll be
that.
a good group to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I guess Johnny's gone. Wait, is he back? He's back. He's back. I got you with the slump buster, huh?
You got me. My phone dropped there, and I couldn't figure out how to get it back on. So yeah, you lost me on that one, JP. You got me.
Yeah. Wonder what that means. All right. So give me your final picks for maybe winners this weekend. So Lowry's a great pick, but no value there at plus 400, really.
Yeah, I still like I said, I still like Corey Connors. We got him at the beginning of the week at 25 to 1. I like him there. Watch for Lucas Glover. I know he's making a little bit move on the leaderboard there. We got him at 36 to 1. I like
Yeah, you did. You got them.
I like where we're sitting with we got Davis Riley to finish in that top 20 at plus 425. I like him a lot there. Sam Burns has struggled a little bit yesterday. He started off very well, but he kind of struggled coming in at plus 300 to finish in that top 10. So I'm going to ride a little bit with see how Corey Connors plays today. Might have him in a couple matchups again. I don't think we got to get to 12, 14, 15 under par to win this golf tournament. I think Corey Connors keeps plotting around today, gets to 3 or 4 under par, does the same thing this weekend. I really like his chances, Corey Connors.
Yeah, I think 10 or 11 will definitely win this tournament if you get the double digits. All right, Johnny, good stuff as always, my friend. Appreciate you jumping on with us. Bob Harig's coming up next. Thank you, buddy. We'll chat with him.
Have fun, JP. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry you guys couldn't make it. It's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be a beautiful weekend out there. Bob's here. So quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Bob Harig, Sports Illustrated, going to join us. Book writer extraordinaire, author. We'll talk about his Tiger book and all the great stuff going on at the Valspar Championship. Back in 3. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, JP here for my personal concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. Yeah, he's been on the show for the last couple of years, but this is kind of a new deal, and only a limited amount of you can get involved with this personal concierge service. And what I love about it, you can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. And Chris emphasizes a healthy lifestyle to help prevent illness. But when I do need assistance, he's always available. From nutrition guidance to supplement recommendations and workout advice, his expertise is a game changer. Plus, As a medical provider for the National Guard, he stays up to date on the latest health trends and practices, steering clear of the outdated conventional medicine that often relies on unnecessary prescriptions. And the best part, Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself. Take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, February's birthstone is amethyst, a stunning purple gem that symbolizes peace, protection, tranquility, and sincerity. Celebrate her birthday or your 6th and 17th wedding anniversaries with an unforgettable amethyst gift. And of course, for over 40 years, the Gold and Diamond Source has been Tampa Bay's most trusted name in fine jewelry. We only sell natural diamonds. If it's real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't get a fake. The Gold and Diamond Source first-time buyer program will help you learn about the 4 C's, what style, shape, and color works best for you and your unique style. Folks, it's the best customer service. They make it so easy for you, and they're not going to push you into something that you cannot afford. 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Also, you can turn your old unused gold into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. So get that old jewelry and bring it on in. You know where, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Okay, let's move on from this. Let's apologize.
We're back here at the JP Peterson Show at the Valspar Championship. Our good friend Bob Harig, long time of the St. Petersburg Times back in the day when they had beat writers covering the tour. Now with Sports Illustrated, long time with ESPN. How are you, partner?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
How's this mic, Tim? Does the mic sound good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Just a lot of noise in the background. Tell everybody to shut up.
Shut the hell up. We're doing a show here. Yeah. These mics are really good. They pick up well.
Yes, they do.
I should probably hold mine up. So it'd be a little bit better.
There you go.
We were just talking. Well, first, let's start just with the Valspar here before we get into some of the other stuff. Blustery day.
Yeah.
And what do you know? An Irishman goes out on his first 9 holes and shoots, 6 under, 5 under?
Yeah, 29 on the back.
29. Holy hell.
I didn't see, par 35 on the back. I didn't see that coming today. Yesterday, which was not an easy day, but easier than this.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing that. And the guy goes out and does that. It's pretty windy. It was very cold this morning. It's probably in the high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're from.
It feels like in the 30s.
Shane Lowry lives most of the year in Florida. He was cold this morning. So, it feels like in the 30s. And the ball doesn't go as far. It's a little bit wet. But I don't know. There's always somebody that steps up. It's nice to see Victor Hovland up there, too. He's been struggling. So, it'd be good. It'd be good if a couple of guys like Spieth and Thomas could shoot a score today and make the cut. You hate to have your headliners.
Spieth's 4 under. So
yeah, good for him. I mean, I think the cut will probably be 1 or 2 over par, so he's got a good chance. Obviously, they did really well here to get a good field. It's hard to play. It's hard to be the week after the Players Championship. That is an exhausting week for these guys. Obviously, the Masters is coming up. There's been a lot of good golf. It'd be easy to skip here, but a lot of them didn't. A lot of them are here because they like it.
Yeah, absolutely. They love this tournament. They love coming here. Usually it's a little bit warmer. So of some of the guys that are on the leaderboard, I know it's early still in this week, but I like Victor Hovland. I followed Sahith Theegala yesterday.
Yeah.
He's hitting it really, really good. What are your thoughts on some of these other guys' chance to win this week?
Yeah, Theegala. I mean, there's also some other names up there that maybe aren't as well known. Keith Mitchell shot a good score yesterday. People might forgot he was a 54-hole leader here last year, and he shot 77 in the last round. It was sort of overshadowed by the fact that they had a really nice guy winner in Peter Malnati. Like one of the good guys, really good guy, and he's going to be battling to make the cut today too. He's been a little bit of a rut, so there's some names on there that people might not recognize, but look, they're great. They're great players. The margins are thin. There's a reason why it was a big deal that Scotty Scheffler won 7 times last year. It's hard to win 1 or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Some topics I want to talk to you about. Let's talk about pace of play. The reason I asked this is I know it's been a big topic. I'm watching Cam Young yesterday, and he's left on 14, the par 5, and he's trying to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And I know there was probably a lot of variables, but I'm telling you, this was 5 or 6 minutes while Taylor Moore was waiting to play. And finally, Taylor said, "We're going to go ahead and play." And he
Yeah.
played, out of turn, which he's allowed to do if granted. And he stood there for another 2 minutes, and he hit a great shot, but it's just too long. At some point, you got to commit to a shot and hit the shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the rule book. The problem is that it's not strictly defined. It's also certainly not enforced. But undue delay. What is undue delay? That seems like undue delay.
Yeah.
Golf has a pace of play issue problem. There's so many variables here that lead to it. I mean, a colleague and I were talking about this the other day. Relatively recent history. It's been a long time, but it's relatively recent in the overall scheme of things. Until 2002, the U.S. Open used to have a 1-tee start. That meant that everybody went off the first tee, every group. That's what the British Open does because of the daylight that they have. And in 2002, they went to a 2-tee start, first and 10, and then obviously in the morning and the afternoon. That was because they felt like they couldn't get everybody in. They had to condense it to get everybody in. But yet we used to be able to get them all in. So why can't we now? And a lot of it has to do with they've made the courses harder to combat technology. The rough is higher, the fairways are narrower, the greens are harder. And so that's why you have guys that are sitting there mulling these shots. Why does a guy mark a 1 or 2 foot putt? Just tap
I saw that yesterday. It was literally 1 foot 2 inches.
Tap it in, right?
And he marked it.
It's because sometimes those things are really tricky. The green speeds are probably too fast these days. And they do that because they need to combat what these guys can do. I mean, we were just talking about it. How does a guy shoot 29? They're so good. This golf course, if anybody's ever played it, nobody's shooting.
Shane Lowry wasn't standing over the ball for 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I mean,
at any point today.
He's, and look, there's a lot of guys who play fast, and the ones who do are sort of penalized by the ones who are so slow.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge problem. What can they do though? I know they've talked about it.
Yeah.
We're going to need a pitch clock.
Yeah, I mean, they've talked about a shot clock. I think that would be actually a good idea for a couple of events, just as a novelty. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like, look at what the pitch clock has done in baseball.
Yeah. And so many of the traditionalists say we should never do it.
Now we've accepted it. It's just there. It would be very hard from a logistical standpoint to make that work in golf. But you could have a couple of events where they're known for that. Have one on the tee, have one on the green.
I agree.
And just see how it goes. The other thing though, like more, probably more pragmatic would be one thing is, they keep a record of slow play and fines. They just don't tell us about it. Golf's like the only sport that doesn't disclose fines. I think public shaming would help.
I do too.
If we had a list of who's the slowest.
Because the players know.
Well, of course they do.
The players know.
And if there was a list and we started writing about it and talking about it, they'd have to get moving. The other thing,
like that.
The other thing too is they do have a fine structure in place. They do have a policy where if you're out of position, you get warned, and then if you're on the clock, they start timing you. Then you get a warning. Once you're out of position and they put you on the clock, there should be no warning. You get a 1-stroke penalty if you're in violation. And once that's the thing that'll get their attention. Fines don't matter. One shot
makes so much money. Fines aren't going to do anything.
But one shot is FedEx Cup points. It's the difference between hundreds of thousands of dollars on the leaderboard over the course of the year. And of course, if they got fined and penalized a shot, we're talking about that.
Yeah.
And
I like the public shaming too.
Yeah, I think it would get them moving.
Absolutely. We talked a lot about PGA Tour and Live, and there are some reports that Trump's going to get involved, and maybe he can do something. He's been involved in the game of golf for a long time. He knows these people, and obviously he's got a lot at his disposal that can help make the deal happen. Is that going to be something that helps this along when we see a coming together in the next year or so?
My only thinking that why he was involved is because there's the sticky matter of the Department of Justice and how that. And to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure how all that fits. Like what would be not kosher with the DOJ that he might just push through.
In terms of monopoly.
Yeah, restraint of trade.
Yeah,
I mean, there's another issue to that, though. I mean, like, look, in sports, especially in the U.S., monopolies actually work.
Exactly.
I mean, it's why we don't have two NFLs.
We like socialism in our sports.
Yeah, and
we want even playing.
We want everybody playing together.
Right.
We wouldn't want Patrick Mahomes in one league and pick another quarterback in another league.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Like, you want them in the same league.
Which is what we have now.
So in golf, we have a lot of good players not playing on the PGA Tour. They're only going to be together in the majors. So there's that. And also, look, Trump, he has a lot of interest in Saudi. He's obviously very closely aligned with them. Their head guy, Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the governor of the PIF, they have a relationship. So I think there was some feeling there that he might be able to help mend some fences. But from where I sit, they're still really far apart. They might be fine on the money. They might be fine on the intricacies of a business deal. But still, what the fans care about, how do we get them back together? Liv wants to operate like they are. Team golf, 14 events. They have not shown any inclination to scale back. The tour doesn't really like their model.
No.
They've shown no inclination to even try to meet them in the middle. Like, could it work if they had 6 or 8 live events as part of the schedule with team golf, and then those guys can play the other times? I mean, from where I sit, I think that's where they need to try to get to. Because, look, they're the ones with the money.
Right.
And they're going to be investing in the PGA Tour. So, you can't just tell them, okay, hey, we're going to take your money, but we need to shut you down.
Right.
That doesn't seem right. But by the same token, their model is not successful financially. It's propped up.
It hasn't resonated with the fans.
It certainly hasn't in the U.S.
No.
But
is it worldwide?
Well, I mean, in certain markets, because a place like Australia, where they went, a place like they were just in Singapore, they were in Hong Kong. Those places don't get to see Brooks Koepka.
Right.
They don't get to see Bryson DeChambeau.
So
We're spoiled.
Yeah.
So those are big there, but they're one-offs.
Yeah.
They're going to those places once.
Yeah.
And so they attract huge crowds. Unless they're getting robust TV revenue overseas internationally, that's another thing. They don't have great TV ratings. They finally got with Fox this year, which is good for them. But the bottom line is what fuels every major sport around the world? TV,
yeah.
Rights fees.
Yeah.
Somebody was making the point to me the other day. Well, you know what? The Premier League in the UK doesn't need a U.S. audience because there's this thought that golf needs the U.S. audience.
Right.
And I said, yeah, you're right. That's because soccer is a worldwide sport. Their rights fees are immense. They sell their rights to the Middle East. They sell them to Asia. They do sell them.
Rights.
They sell them to the U.S. too.
Yeah.
They have the rights deal here.
Yeah.
It might not be as lucrative. And also, soccer is not a niche sport.
Yeah.
Golf is a niche sport.
Yeah.
And so it
needs to come together.
It does. I mean, it really does somehow. And if they can figure out a way to bring them together, I think we all need to just be. Let's say you don't like live, but let's suck it up and allow some of that to exist.
Yeah.
If you're them and you think that thing is great, well, acknowledge that it's not really gone over that well and take what you can get.
Right.
Maybe it grows. Maybe those franchises sell if they have the PGA Tour's blessing.
I don't see it happening, but I just want them all to come together.
Yeah.
And with the fact that the PGA Tour is, I don't know if struggling is the right word from a rating standpoint, but to have players like Colin Morikawa come out and say, I don't know anybody anything in terms of doing an interview after a loss or, down the stretch. That, as you were explaining to me before, that story was going away.
Mm-hmm.
But when he said that, I think that's not what the PGA Tour is. That's not what the fans need to hear.
No, that was unfortunate. And, I'll throw in that, he's a good guy. He's been good to the media. He's off to a great start in his career. He's been very accessible. And so, look, he was in position to win at Bay Hill. He didn't get it done. He was obviously frustrated. I think we all get that. We understand that.
Absolutely.
And look, sometimes guys don't talk after rounds. It happens.
Yeah.
It's unusual when they don't after a final round. But look, that's okay. It wasn't the end of the world. I think everybody is allowed to do something that we don't like a few times without it's not. It really isn't about us.
No.
It's more about the fans, though. Like I think the fans would have liked to have known. Like, well, how did you feel about that guy chipping in on you? How did it change your mindset?
Yeah.
Like you're fourth in the world, but you haven't won in a year. You're clearly frustrated. He was close in 2 majors last year.
Right.
Yeah, so he's frustrated. He wants to break through. We get that. So, even if he'd have just talked for a couple of minutes, or if he doesn't talk, which is what happened, a couple of days later he did. He was very good explaining the situation. He probably didn't need to say what he said about I don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
Then people piled on him.
Right.
Especially at this time in the game when there's kind of some fan apathy where people are tired of hearing about the money.
Yep.
They're tired about bad attitudes. They just want to enjoy the sport. And again, I'm defending him mostly, like 90%. I'm defending him. We all make mistakes, and I don't really think that was that terribly egregious. But you can't make it worse.
Yes, and that's exactly what he did. And it's just I don't think fans in general are in a place right now where they want to hear, rich guys that are making tons of money say, we don't know you. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's just
throughout sports history, some of the what have we done? We've appreciated the guy who doesn't win, and we respect him for handling it.
Yeah.
And, I think what happened in Morikawa's case is Golf Channel did a deep dive on that. And they probably went too far with it. But, they showed Norman when he lost the Masters and how he was in the interview room afterward. And he was revered for the way he handled
That's
that.
Right. That's right.
And
it's been a bit of a golf tradition.
Yeah. And look, Jack Nicklaus, probably the greatest, sportsman ever, because he always handled defeat with such class. And there's been other times a guy gives up a home run, or the World Series home run or whatever. Bill Buckner, after the ball went through his legs, there's video of him, doing those post-game interviews, and you sit there and you go, man, that must have been brutal. And look, what happened to Morikawa to me wasn't that brutal.
No.
He didn't flail away the tournament. Golf's hard. Yeah, guy chipped in on him. He could even chalk it up to being luck, bad luck.
Well.
So Russell Henley, obviously Russell Henley played a very nice back nine that day, but it's just too bad because he's a good guy, and I just really hope it's not an issue anymore because he's going to win a lot. He might win a major this year.
Well, and also I think we're getting to know these players much better because of Full Swing, who's here this week. I saw their trailer out there. It's kind of changed the game a little bit, and it's changed the way you cover the game. I mean, I think we're all really jealous of the access that they get.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. As a journalist, we never get able to get that kind of access. But it's growing the game, and I love it. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think anytime you can pull back the curtain a little bit helps. It helps. It helps. The raw emotion of Keegan Bradley 2 years ago when he didn't get on the Ryder Cup team. It's just incredible, and it makes the story of him becoming the captain now even better.
Yeah.
So look, I get that they can't do that all the time, and I would say in my world, we're not asking for that.
Yeah.
We just want a few minutes here and there. And
we don't want to spend the night at the house.
And again, look, if they don't want to talk, it's okay. It's not. I don't take it personal.
Some do.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes, look, you gotta. I will say this: one of the problems in golf too is in a football locker room, baseball, there's a cooling off period.
Right.
In golf, they sign their scorecard literally, which is required.
Yeah.
So they can't wait to sign it. They have to do that to be official, literally minutes after they finished. And then minutes after that, there we are with the notebooks.
Yep.
It's tough.
It's not fun.
And so they haven't calmed down sometimes. And then you say, okay, well, why don't we give them 10, 15 minutes? Well, they want to get the hell out.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait 15 minutes to come back and talk to us. They're going to their locker. They're cleaning up. And if it's not the final round, they might go practice. They might go putt. They might hit balls. So they want to get the media stuff over with.
Yeah.
So it's not always a great situation for them. I get that.
All right. You got a winner this week?
Boy, I don't know. I was sort of thinking Tommy Fleetwood coming into the week, and he was a little scratchy yesterday. So this might be a good day for him. I don't know.
I think so.
We'll see.
For Shane,
yeah.
So these European players that grew up in the wind
and
the cold, it's a good day for them.
Yep.
What's going on with your book, the Tiger book?
Yeah, look, it's been a year. Tiger, I wrote all about Tiger's legacy. You know, I think it still holds. It was called Drive for a reason. That was the word, his drive. He never gave up.
Yep.
You know, and there's, you know, a dozen examples in the book of Tiger just kind of pushing through. And one of them, look, this is, I'll just give this one example that is often overlooked or forgotten in all the great winning. Xander Schauffele, if he makes the cut today, it'll be his 60th straight on the PGA Tour.
Wow.
That's the longest on tour. It's the longest since Tiger got to 142 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
And so even if he gets there, he's not even halfway to Tiger. That's the all-time record.
60 is the longest since Tiger?
Yeah.
Xander right now?
Yeah, and the next longest since Tiger was 49 by Steve Stricker. Guys just do not make that many cuts in a row, even with a lot of no-cut events, which count.
Yeah.
They
do?
Yeah, they count toward it, and they did for Tiger. Out of the 142, he had 31 event. The actual term, the cut, is actually in the money.
Yeah.
So if you get paid,
right,
you've made the cut.
Right.
So these no-cut events, it counts, which makes it a little bit easier. Obviously, you're not having to worry about that. I would argue that of all of the 31 events that Tiger had a no-cut event, maybe there might have been 2 where he was flirting with what would have been the cut line.
Yeah.
Like he was always up there. But I mean, that was over 7 years. 7 years of never missing a cut. Xander hasn't missed a cut now in 3 years.
That's pretty impressive.
And the next best is Scotty Scheffler with 49. So like guys just don't make these kind of runs. So but anyway, I had a whole chapter on Tiger's 142. Like he beat the record held by Byron Nelson, which had been 113. And in Byron Nelson's era, a cut meant in the money, and you could make a cut and not get paid. So you didn't get credit for a cut unless you got paid. So like let's say the cut was 60 players, but they only paid 30. He was always in the money. So, but obviously a different era, a different time. The next best after him was Jack. Jack had 105.
The fields are so much deeper now.
It's hard. I mean,
It's
yeah.
really hard.
And look, it's easy to have a bad day. But I mean, the thing about Tiger, look, it's human nature. Let's say you shot a bad score Thursday. You shot 75, say. You know you're going to have to shoot 67 today, 68 to probably make it. You get off to a poor start, and you start thinking, yeah, I can get that Delta flight at 8 o'clock tonight and get home. I could be with the family. Like your mind wanders. Like they start to justify. This is how human nature is. Tiger never did that. He always grinded it out. His attitude was, I can't win if I'm not here.
Right.
And so it's a great, that's one of the stories I think is on. And obviously I talked to a lot of people about how amazing that whole thing was.
Well, with his Achilles injury now, is this it?
Well, I mean, I think he can heal from that. It's just that he's just been so long without being competitive, and at some point you've got to get back in the arena and compete. Now, when he comes back, my guess is we won't see him maybe the end of the year, but he'll be 50 in December, and if you ask me, he should play some Champions Tour golf out of a cart. That'll help him get competitive because at least he'll be hitting shots under pressure and he won't have to walk as much.
Right.
And then maybe that helps him get ready for something like Riviera or the Players' Championship or the Masters because he's gotten some reps. He's chipped, he's putted fast greens, he's hit shots. He's playing against, guys that are really good and that are his age. It's not the same as playing against Scheffler, but at least you get the adrenaline. There's no way to equate it.
Do you think he'll do it?
I think he's hinted at it. He said, when he was like 47, he'd said, I'm only 3 more years until I get a buggy, meaning a golf cart. And look,
that's what all his buddies are,
competition is a drug. It's a drug. They love it. Why are these guys so good? It's hard to put that aside. It's why they keep coming back. And so I think he might, but he's got to be healthy.
Well, now, and I make this maybe me, but the fact that Jack never embraced the Champions Tour, and he's the only one that compares to Tiger, if we're just being honest. Is there anything in Tiger's mind that's like, Jack didn't do it? I mean, if I do it, does that knock down my legacy?
I mean, but if he looks, he'll see that Jack did win 10 times on the Champions Tour.
Yeah.
In fact, here, TPC Tampa Bay, all those years ago, was an amazing scene. But he won He won the Senior Open a couple times. So I'm sure Tiger wouldn't mind adding another USGA title. I mean, like if he looks at it that way, sure. Is he going to play out there a lot? No. Jack played 5-6 times a year out there.
Right.
But I'm telling you, like, when Jack was 58, he tied for 6 at the Masters. It was his last hurrah, so to speak.
It well. Yeah.
The reason he was competitive is because he had played some Champions Tour golf that year.
Mm-hmm.
He got the juices going a little bit. Like, he didn't just show up at the Masters having played once.
Yeah.
Like Tiger's been sort of doing here since he come back from the car crash.
That's true.
He needs to play more.
Yeah.
It's hard for him to play more, maybe because the physical limitations. But then again, if you're out of a cart, I saw him at the PNC in December when he played with Charlie. He could have rode there. He didn't. It's the best I've seen him walk since the crash. He had the back surgery in September. Clearly, that alleviated some issues. So I actually thought this year there was this chance. He might play a little bit more. We might see him be a little more competitive. Then his mom passed away. Obviously, that you can't know what he's going through. He skipped playing a tournament. He didn't play the players, and now he got hurt again trying to train. So it's just too bad. Because I've long maintained that people, why doesn't he just say quit, or why first of all, don't retire, and second, he's earned the right to do what he wants.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And anytime he shows up, we don't care whether he wins or
Right.
not. We just want to see him play.
People were watching Arnie in his 60s.
Oh, yeah.
He had no chance to make a cut, so nobody cared.
No.
Everybody thought it was fine. It was great to see him. He earned it.
Yeah.
And so did Jack.
Same
So
with
did Tiger.
I still say, when he played out here, was it 18?
Yeah.
18?
Yeah.
It was one of the most electric things I've ever seen in Tampa Bay sports.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a buzz.
Yep.
It was a buzz.
It was neat. Yeah, and he was in
cool.
contention
Damn
all
near
weekend.
won.
And yep. And that was, look, that's another thing that's in the book, but that was only 4 events after the spinal fusion surgery.
Yeah.
4 events, and he was in contention. Because he had the spinal fusion surgery in April of 2017, and in March of 2018, less than a year after a surgery that kept him from swinging a club for 6 months, he almost won.
He almost won. Yeah.
Amazing. Like we don't think about that because he didn't win, but like in the overall scope of his career, that was a phenomenal.
Yeah, he had a putt on 18 to get
tie.
into the
Yeah.
playoff.
Yeah, he didn't hit it close enough that day. He just left himself too far back, and he didn't make any putts in that last round. Was just tough on the green.
It was something to see. Well, Shane Lowry's 29, and this win was something to see this morning. So I'm going to get out and watch him a little bit as he comes finish up and see what he does.
Yep.
Bob, thanks so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for jumping in there. Quick, come back on the other side, get into a couple more Buck thoughts and some race thoughts as well. Stay with us.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally, and listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Great Bob Harig. You wanted to talk Rays, too.
Of course he did.
You wanted to talk about the Rays, too.
He can talk about anything.
Yeah, but, we were talking a little bit about the delays and everything that went down, and everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to talk about it. And I don't have any real updates today except to say that litigation could be coming. And that's all I'm at liberty to say, and that's from the Rays side. They want to litigate. And Chris Lotfula has said this, and I agree with him. If anybody should be suing anybody, it should be the city and the county suing the Rays for backing out of a deal they agreed to, and all the costs that the city and the county have incurred in doing this deal. And it's in the multi-millions of dollars in consultants and in lawyers. They've spent 3 years putting this deal together. And, it's the same old, but, I would think that the Rays would be liable for that because they agreed to the deal, and they're the ones that backed out, not the city and the county. They approved the bonds. So let's just hope it gets done quickly. Should we do some comments here, partner?
Yeah, we haven't touched comments today, have we?
Nope. Let's get to them. Daniel Rivera, good morning to you. Said finally, and I'm sorry for the long thread here. Rays floated $600 million to approve the chop and stay for 10 to 15 years. Not happening. That is again another smack in the face to me. For you to come back and say we're not going to do this deal that everybody has worked on, and that is an incredible deal for them in terms of money. Like I still don't understand how they didn't do the deal. So you're going to back out on that, but hey, why don't you give us $400 million of public money, and we'll throw in 200, wink, wink, and we'll redo the Trop, and we'll make it bigger and better and great, and everybody will love it. Well, it's the same location, and you're still just putting lipstick on a pig on an obsolete stadium, and you're only going to commit to 10 to 15 years, and that keeps the Trop site from being developed. Remember all those things you said about the black community? Oh, we want to give back to the black community. We want to make them whole. This great deal. Of course, you backed out of that, and a lot of other people you disappointed. But that you won't be able to redevelop the Trop if you do that at that site. So once again, that's they come to everybody and go, oh, won't you love this? I'm like, no, it doesn't benefit anybody but them.
Yeah.
But the audacity to even float that, like thinking people are going to go, oh, yes. I think that's what maybe is the most puzzling here. I think the Rays really believe that, and I guess, the way Ken Welch treated it, they did bend over backwards to give them everything they could possibly want in the deal. I think I read in the story in the Times, there's a line in there today that the deal that they were given is not out of line with other public-private stadium deals, and that's not true. That is not true. This was one of the biggest boondoggles in history in terms of teams taking advantage of the city and the county. And that's not just my opinion. That's from its city administrators and people that have done dozens of these deals over the years. Let me see here. Daniel also says more what we do know. St. Pete obligated to pay $56 million to repair the Trop. St. Pete will get out of that. They'll try, sure, or try to work out a settlement. Rays required to play 3 more years at the Trop if repaired. Not happening. And the Trop is more damage than he thinks. Yeah, Daniel had a big thread in here, and I agree with him. I just don't see how repairing the Trop makes any sense whatsoever. I just don't.
Oh, I lost your audio, JP. Lost your audio. Nope. Nope. Oh, there we go. Now we got you. Now we got you.
Yeah, one of my mics went dead. Sorry about that.
Right.
So yeah, to repair the trop, just as 56 million is like the initial without engineers really putting the plans together. So I think it's going to be way more than that, and it continues to get damaged with every rainstorm that comes through. So it's a lot. What else we got on here? B says Ebor was going to be 892 million peanuts these days. Now, as we look back, that was the moment. Really, that was the moment. Had they gone through with that deal, and listen, it wasn't perfect. The deal wasn't perfect. But if you have two willing partners, you'll work through the issues. That's what happens in every stadium deal. But when you're working with the Rays, it's a totally different deal. What else we got here? Rick says that season ticket holder is smart. He knows that Stu has a sniper ready to take out JP. No red dot on his chest. B says I'm still about 300 tickets left for opening day. Yeah, it'll sell out even at those prices. Nathan Elliott, going back to the Bucks nostalgia talk we had earlier with Paul Stewart. So one of my favorite home games was the Lions Bucks in 1999. All-Star took that game over in the third quarter. Yeah, those games when the A-Train whistle was going in the stadium, in the third and fourth quarter, and they're just handing the ball off to him, and he's bouncing off six guys, just demoralizing the other team. That was such quintessential Bucks football. Defense that was kicking people's ass, physical, taking the ball away, and then they turn around and just, I formation, Lorenzo Neal in front, Mike Allstott in back, and just pounding people. And the train whistle going. It was just that was great Bucks football. That was really great Bucks football. JP and Tim, you should have introduced Paul was Sprat Zarathustra as an instrumental song. Really?
All right. Next time.
Anything else that we wanted to get to? More Right Rudder asks, how are the winds at the course right now, and what does the forecast look like this afternoon? It's windy as hell. It was windy as hell. Actually, it's laid down a little bit.
Yeah, it's died down a little bit, it looks like.
So, but I think it's going to be pretty consistent, 15 to 20 miles an hour all day. But if it lays down in the afternoon, there could be some really good scores because the course will it's a little wet from yesterday for sure. All right. Anything else? Anything else we need to? Yeah. Nathan says, Mike signed my wooden train whistle during the Bucks cruise. Oh, nice. Hope he's talking about the whistle there.
John Hill said he came by, tried to find you, JP, but he went back to Hooters because he couldn't find you.
We're not hard to find. We're right here by the pool. It's not. Like there's
anybody say hello. Couldn't find you.
All right, we'll come find you a little bit later on. So that's about it. Thank you for the comments, guys. Appreciate that. Did we talk about the Celtics selling for $6.1 billion?
We touched on it yesterday, but we haven't talked about it today. That just seems astronomical to me for a basketball team, but I guess it's the Celtics.
It's the Celtics, and the model for the NBA, they get a lot of money from China. I think it's like $1 billion a year in television rights. So I think I read that at one point. So that's a big part of their business model, because I don't know. I know the ratings are not great. They've been better of late because they compare them to what they were the last couple of years. Oh, they're up 40%. Well, they're in the toilet. So I don't know how much 40% up is going to bring them just in terms of where it is right now to the other sports. I don't think it's very good, but $6.1 billion is a lot of money for an NBA team. And you never know what comes along with that. Do they own the building? Do they not? There's a lot of other factors that go into it, but I don't sense that the NBA has a growing audience in the United States. Do you?
No.
I don't get that at all. All right, and then coming up, do you have the schedule for today as far as the games go? No, the Gators are playing at 6:50 today, correct?
I believe that's correct. Let me.
Pete gets going early this morning.
We have. Let's see, Alabama, Robert Morris this morning, Baylor and Mississippi State, Memphis, TJ's Memphis and Colorado State today, this afternoon. Duke and Mount St. Mary's this afternoon.
What time is that game?
That game is, let's see, is this Central? I'm probably looking at Central. It'd be about 2:50 Eastern.
Okay. All right, so go watch your March Madness.
The big UNC and Ole Miss matchup. Everybody's got to watch UNC lose.
Well, they got in and they got their one win, and which was worth, I guess, a few $1 million for the ACC. So the corruption continues. We'll see if they win.
So you don't think Florida's worried about Norfolk State?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And
you know who the Norfolk State new head football coach is, don't you?
It's Mike Vick, right?
That is Mike Vick, correct.
Yeah. It's going to make a very poor dogfighting joke, but we'll just leave. I have deference to the dogs. We'll leave that out.
Anytime they play the Bulldogs or something like that.
Yes. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
He's a friend of the show. Mike's a friend of the show. We got to laugh.
All right. We'll bygones be bygones. All right, that'll do it for us here at the Valspar. Remember, ValsparChampionship.com is where you get your tickets. Come on out for the weekend. Tomorrow, of course, they're going to have the concert. Jordan Davis, after your Saturday tickets get you the concert ticket as well. And then Sunday is going to be awesome. The final round, we've got some good folks on the leaderboard. I'm going to go watch some Shane Lowry golf and watch him finish. So thanks to Bob Harig for stopping by, our good friend Paul Stewart as well, John Gerber. Timmy, great job. We will see you guys good. Bolts tomorrow, Utah, and Vegas on Sunday, and we'll be here on Monday to wrap up the Valspar and the weekend in hockey. So we will see you then. Have a great day, everybody.